Welcome, everybody. You're listening to AFSO 21's Weekend Wrap-Up Podcast. Here is your host, Kevin Ferrara.
Welcome, everyone, to another episode of the Weekend Wrap-Up. I'm your host, Kevin Ferrara, and first and foremost, folks, I just want to go ahead and thank all my listeners and viewers out there across the globe that have continuously supported me and the podcast, just allowing me to go ahead and provide information out there, whether it's on, firefighter health and safety, PFAS, leadership, you name it. We're trying to get it out there. So again, I just want to thank everybody for their continuous support. Words are not enough, but just to let you know, very, very much appreciated. So with that, we're going to jump into this. Today's podcast, this weekend's podcast, it's going to be a two-part. We're going to talk about Fire Prevention Week, and then we're also going to talk about firefighter cancer. In particular, we're going to talk about a firefighter in Virginia Beach Fire Department that is currently going through treatment for cancer, and we want to highlight what's going on with him within the department and how you, my audience members, can support this firefighter in Virginia Beach. So before we get started, let's hear from our sponsor, Fire Department Coffee, who also does a foundation for firefighters that are in need. So I'm going to put this shout out now and throughout the podcast. Fire Department Coffee, I'm looking to you to go ahead and help this firefighter we're going to talk about in this episode with cancer. My friends over at Brothers Helping Brothers, Nick and the gang over there, I'm going to put the shout out to you guys. Firefighter Cancer Support Network across the country, especially the Virginia chapter. Let's rally and do what we can for this firefighter we're going to talk about. So with that being said, let's hear from our sponsor, Fire Department Coffee, and then when we get back, we'll get into it.
One of the first things people ask me when they meet me is
Fire Department Coffee a real company?
Yes, we're real. Like, really real.
No, we're not roasting your tasty beans here at the fire station. That's called water hammer. But we are roasting those wonderful beans of sanity to the perfect temperature here at our roasting facility.
And then shipping them to you from our brand spanking new fulfillment center. But don't take my word for it. Hear from some of the amazing people that have had our coffee.
Yeah, Fire Department Coffee's real. Real as this guy's face.
Yeah, Fire Department Coffee's real. As real as my urge to never wear a shirt. God dang it!
So if incredible tasting coffee is your thing, head on over to firedepartmentcoffee.com. But only if you like real great tasting coffee, real authentic gear, and real attractive firefighters. Really good coffee.
All right, folks, we are back, and as always, check out Fire Department Coffee. They've actually got some new products out on the market right now that you didn't hear in their promo. But be sure to check out their website. Make sure you use that promo code AFSO21 to get, I think it's 10% discount off. I'm not going to lie, they throw out some other discounts out there, promo codes that are a little bit better every so often. But at the end of the day, AFSO21 will get you 10% off your total order. So be sure to check them out, give them some love. Because they love firefighters across the world. So, as we said, we're going to talk about a couple things. But the first topic we're going to get into is Fire Prevention Week, because literally that's coming up here in a day or so. So we want to go ahead. We're going to flip over here and we're going to show you their website. And bam, just like that, folks. We are looking at the those that are watching on YouTube. For those that are listening audio, just close your eyes. Imagine, be like Willy Wonka in the Chocolate Factory. World of imagination on here. So that's a cheesy plug for that movie, but hey, it's an awesome movie. So with that, Fire Prevention Week, this year's trademarked logo or motto, if you will. It's saying fire won't wait, plan your escape. And that is so true, folks. We've seen, and as you go to their website, we're going to have links to this. I tried naming the website in the podcast, but it's just too much. So if you hear me talk about a topic or reference something, go into podcast description, whether it's in an audio or YouTube. In those descriptions, I'm going to have links to everything that you can just click on, follow along, or read, before or after listening to the podcast. So fire won't wait, plan your escape. Think about that for a second. So, we're looking at, and this is the 100th anniversary of Fire Prevention Week. So, I mean, this is a monumental effort that they're doing, and I'm sure we've heard these things over and over in the past. Plan your escape. Plan for a fire. Do this, do that. Have your rally points. Well, we keep saying that, folks, in the fire service community. And NFPA keeps foot stomping it simply because things are still happening. Yes, fires occur every day, but in many of those fires, families are devastated because they don't plan their escape. They're like, "Oh, it'll never happen to me. I have smoke detectors, smoke alarms, all these things." And when an emergency actually happens, we can walk through scenarios day after day, hour after hour, minute by minute. And, we start with something, and firefighters, this through training. We do this, and then at the end of the day or end of the training, it's almost natural. But mind you, these are in controlled environments that we train in. Same thing with families. They say, okay, we have a plan. Mom and dad, let's gather the kids, caretakers, let's gather everybody up, and we're going to go through the motions. And that's great. I encourage that. Please, please, please do that every week, every month, whatever. Go through the motions so hopefully, repetitive motion. It's just like muscle memory. You keep repeating something, you keep reading something. Eventually, you're going to remember that, and eventually, your muscles, it's going to become natural. Go through the motions, repeat it over and over and over until, it's second nature. Now, I'm not saying, when I say, yeah, it's in a controlled environment, I'm absolutely no way saying set your house on fire and see what happens. Please do not do that. Don't create an emergency just to go through these plans. And I have to say that because, folks, there's people out there that would actually do this or do that. So what I'm saying, though, is, you can still create some chaos that won't injure, harm, put people at risk while you're going through these practice scenarios, just to throw you off base a little bit and make you think. Because if we just say, okay, and I see this a lot, folks, with fire drills. You go up, most of the time they know when the fire drill is going to happen, especially in schools. They know when the fire drill is going to happen. Everything's in a controlled environment. It's like unicorns and rainbows and cupcakes and all that stuff. And it's like, oh my God, look how perfect they've done this fire drill. But then once you introduce smoke, sounds, distractions, anything like that, especially firefighters, and you go out and you do these fire drills, implement some things that are going to throw people off their game and just sit back and watch what happens. And that's the time to let them do what they're going to do and then talk about it afterwards, because it's still a controlled environment. We don't want to see them panic. We don't want to see them off their game when an actual incident, an actual fire emergency occurs. We want to play out all these different scenarios in a controlled training environment. So what I'm saying is, plan your escape, and we'll scroll down through here. So you see they got home escape plan grid. It's in English and Spanish, and here's a family action plan. So let's click on the family action plan. Hopefully it comes up. And as you can see here, it opens up a PDF. In NFPA, we can go through, action number 1. Make the first Saturday of each month a smoke alarm Saturday. That's what I was talking about earlier. Every Saturday, just push, have mom or dad, somebody that can actually reach the smoke alarm or take it off and, bring it down for the kids so they can participate and test that smoke alarm. I mean, we say, test it every year, Fire Prevention Week, blah, 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 test your smoke alarm. Well, okay, let's test it every Saturday now. So we test that smoke alarm, we hold it in, it activates. And then, as you see, goes through, it should be in every sleeping room, outside the sleeping area, various places. But then, let's see what happens with the family as they hear this smoke alarm. And do, maybe the first and third Saturdays of the month, you do it during daytime. The second and fourth Saturdays, or if there's a fifth Saturday in the month, we do it at nighttime. Make sure your hours variate, because again, especially in schools, kids are in school, during the day. Hopefully they're not there at night. But it's, in the school, don't always say, okay, it's that time of the year again. We're going to do a smoke alarm drill, a fire drill. And it's scheduled for 10 a.m. People know this. It's like, okay, yeah, it's 10. Oh, looking at my watch. Oh, it's 10 o'clock. We got to get ready. No, throw them off key, throw them off their game. And, when 10 o'clock rolls around, be like, wait a second, weren't we supposed to do a fire drill? And then maybe throw it at 2 o'clock. Maybe throw it during, dare I say it, kids, during lunchtime. It's, various things can happen. So, and I say we do that because that makes people think. It's like, okay, well, again, fires don't wait, or fire won't wait. It's, and I'm looking up and down at my other screens here, folks that are watching on YouTube. Fire's not going to wait. Fire's not going to say, hey, I'm going to break out at 10 a.m. Any other time you guys are safe. I'm on a schedule. I'm Mr. Fire. No, folks, that's not what happens. Fire can occur at any given time, any given second, whether it's inside a building, outside a building, in your vehicle, in your, wherever, it can occur. So plan for the unexpected, really, is what I'm getting at. As you see, action 2, those that are watching on YouTube here, develop a home fire escape plan and practice it at least twice a year. Okay, so we do the smoke alarm Saturday. You set off the smoke alarms, get people excited, and you're testing them. Okay, we got that. Action 2, develop that home fire escape plan and practice it at least twice a year. And again, practice it during the day, practice it during the night. If you really want to get above and beyond, if it's raining out, practice it in the rain, practice it in the cold. Throw these different factors, these different scenarios in there, because again, fire isn't specific. It's not going to break out in the most optimal conditions out there. Most of the time it breaks out when you're least thinking about it, especially kitchen fires. And next thing panic, what do we do? And then here, remember, when you hear a beep, get on your feet. I think we've heard this before with NFPA, but again, they're repeating these things because for some out there, they just don't get it. There's still accidents, there's still incidents occurring to where, post interviews, there's always a purpose behind what NFPA does and why they put these fact sheets out there and these guides. There's always a reason why. And when they say, when you hear a beep, get on your feet, that's probably likely because in the post-fire interview, they probably talked to the folks and said, well, we heard, especially in apartment complexes, we heard the neighbor's alarm going off. It goes off every day. And, we just thought, they were just in there, careless cooking, they burnt food on the stove and it set it off. And then, we went back to sleep, or, we turned the TV up so we didn't have to hear it. Next thing you know, multiple apartments are on fire. The building, the entire building's on fire. they're standing on the street and they're like, holy crap, what just happened? So hear a chirp, make a change. I can't tell you how many of these calls I've responded on throughout my career. You hear the battery chirp. Somebody usually, especially in the older population, they're going to call up and say, "Hey, I've got a smoke alarm going off. It's making a beep noise, but there's no smoke or fire." So, we roll out there, and it's 9 times out of 10, it's usually a battery. We never. I hate it when I hear fire departments or firefighters say, "Oh, it's a faulty detector because it's chirping." Well, no, it's doing exactly what it's designed to do. It's chirping. If you read the product's directions, the manual, it's chirping for a reason. It's either dirty or it's because the batteries are dead. It'll tell you if it chirps 5 times. The battery has met its end of life, or it's nearing it's nearing the end of life. So it's got minimal power. So it's saying, hey, I'm not drawing enough power. It's for those familiar with building alarm systems. Think of that chirp as it's in a trouble alarm. So it's chirping, like 5 times, like every minute or couple minutes, and it's a pattern. If you stand there and listen to it, it's an actual pattern. So it's really not a faulty detector. Same thing in high rises, in apartment buildings and everything. Somebody says, "Oh, the detector went off. There's no smoke or fire. We don't know why it went off, so it must be a bad detector." Well, are you sure about that? Is it because if you have a specific detector that picks, it may detect some dust, and it assumes that dust to be smoke dust, so it activated. So just to, for firefighters that are out there listening to this, especially inspectors, don't keep saying, "Oh, it's a faulty detector. The system malfunctioned." Nope, everything functioned as it was designed to do. There's a reason why that detector or alarm is chirping. It activated. Okay, do what I'm saying is, do your jobs and find out the source. What is going on? Now, we're not, and when I say do your jobs, I'm saying don't just walk in there and say, look at the panel, say, "Oh, it's an alarm, zone 5, detector 3, whatever it is," and then you go to that room, dorm room usually, and say, "Yep, there's nothing here. It must be a malfunction," and then you just leave. Well, no, you have to get somebody involved. Talk to the building owner, to the building custodian. Reach out, if they don't know, help them reach out to the alarm company and say, "Hey, we had this activation. Here's what we found when we got on site." Walk them through it. Walk that company through it, the alarm company, so they can better, I guess, reverse engineer what the cause may have been. So that again, it's, and I'll be honest, and I say this because in my career, I've had numerous times to where we got multiple quote false alarms to a dorm building, and it's usually like the first 4 we're gung ho, we're fully full turnout gear, we got an air pack on, we're not laying a line in, but we're ready to fight fire, and we get in there. It's like, okay, we found nothing, and then that next activation, we're like, oh, here we go. And especially if it's early in the morning. Okay, firefighters, what do we usually do at that point? Oh, we just, we're in our downtime gear, our uniform. We just jump on the truck, and we're like, it's just going to be a false alarm anyhow. And then you get there and you get inside the building, and then you get up on the 2nd or 3rd floor, and it's like, holy shit, we got smoke showing. What do we do now? And then, not saying that, it's a complete chaos, but then you've got to be like, okay, now I got to go into, a different mode. What's going on? And most of the time it turns out somebody microwaving popcorn, burnt food on the stove, it's something minor. But what I'm saying is, don't get complacent, firefighters out there. Same thing with residents, homeowners, renters, whoever. don't get complacent when you hear either a beep or a chirp. Treat that as, something's going on. Investigate if you can safely, notify the emergency responders, and then, of course, get out of the building and let the crews come in and figure out what's going on. So that's the PDF on there. Going back to their main site, we'll go back down through. And as you see here, today's home fires burn faster than ever. So, the reason for that, folks, and I don't want to dwell on, on this. I want my audience members, to get out there and really, go through the NFPA pages, download things, talk with your fire departments, talk with your local officials about all this. But back to the home fires, why do they burn faster than ever? Well, it's because of the materials that are being used. Back in the day, we had, it was mostly, Class A products, wood construction, wood frame construction and everything. It was thicker at the time. You look at a 2x4 back in, 1800s compared to what it is today, completely different. Now we're getting into engineered trusses. We're looking at OSB. So rather than, planks of wood, they got into plywood. Now we're into this OSB, and guess what? OSB contains glues. And then of course our furnishings that we have, most of them are more flammable than they were back 100 years ago. So that, there's various things as to why homes burn faster, than they did, we'll say 100 years ago. So, again, firefighters, audience members, whoever you may be, homeowners, residents, tenants, look around your living spaces, whether it be in a firehouse or at home, and just, look to see, hey, is that flammable? Is that not flammable? And do a little research, find out how fast certain things, NIST does a lot of training out there. You usually see it, especially during the Christmas time with Christmas trees. We see how fast Christmas trees go up in flames. Well, there's research out there that shows how fast certain products will be consumed by fire as well. And fire departments, if you're not doing it, maybe that's something you could think about during Fire Prevention Week, is say, hey, here's a typical room and content. And give a demonstration, a safe demonstration. I've seen some of these go south real quick. But give a safe demonstration just to show how fast it takes, from the time something starts smoldering, that initial flame, until the smoke alarm activates, and then until that room is consumed by fire. If you don't have the means to do that, there's a lot of videos out there. Too many for me to list. But yeah, do some research out there. You'll find these videos out there. And again, I cannot stress enough, fire departments, if you're going to do this, make sure it is a safe environment. We've all seen the videos out there to where firefighters were injured because they were trying to demonstrate how fast a building will go up in flames. And when I say a building, it's usually a little shed that they built using OSB or plywood. And next thing you know, firefighters are heading to the hospital with 2nd and 3rd degree burns and smoke inhalation. And that's they're injured by the very same thing we're trying to convey to the kids and the families, to prevent them from becoming injured. So, just, things to consider. But so, go check out the Fire Prevention Week. As you can see, NFPA has a site, and I'm looking up and down here. NFPA has a site for Fire Prevention Week. So if you go to fpw.org, it's real simple right there. fpw.org. Go check out Sparky. Go check out what we as the fire service through NFPA are doing here in 2002. You can download like I said, different action plans, grids. They've got, I'll just real quick click on a toolkit here. So they have out of the box ideas. You can download. There's messaging, fundraising letters for fire departments that want to do some fundraising on this. Event flyers, webinars, social media stuff you can share out on Facebook, Twitter, all that stuff. And as you see, they got Facebook, Instagram formats, and then you come down here, and then they've got Twitter formats, and then they I think they had some other ones on there. I may have missed them, but there's different formats out there, so you don't have to try to modify those graphics to make it fit. So NFPA has really thought about it this year. Campaigns and logo usage, you can go ahead and download those. Things to teach about fire safety. I mean, it's on and on and on and on and on. So check them out. FPW. That stands for Fire Prevention Week, fpw.org. And yep, I ended up going back too far there. So, but yeah, see, here's another one. They got partners. Yeah, you guys get it. I'm not going to dwell on it. So that is that. So moving over to firefighter cancer. Like I said at the top of the podcast, we have a firefighter. Those that are looking on YouTube, Captain Chiaverotti, Matt Chiaverotti, 43-year-old Virginia Beach Fire Department captain. His nickname is Chevy, and he is currently battling Anaplastic Thyroid Cancer, and it's metastatic carcinoma. It's a rare and aggressive form of cancer that accounts for less than 2% of thyroid cancers. Now, folks, you have heard me talk about various forms of cancer because of PFAS and products of combustion, and one of those that I have foot stomped over and over is thyroid cancer. And I'm actually going to be giving a presentation about firefighter cancer and PFAS here next month. But in the meantime, and I've done this with other fire departments and organizations. Thyroid cancer, it's often overlooked because people think, oh, it's just a sore throat. It's some of the signs and symptoms is more like a cold, COVID type thing. So they think, oh, I'm just, I'm sick, but I'm not sick. I don't know if that's the case here with Chevy, but obviously his family, they found out he has this type of cancer. He is currently down in the Houston, Texas area receiving treatment. His wife, Sarah, is down there with him. Their son, Gus, is still back in Virginia Beach with family members. So the family is split right now, only because Chevy's down in Texas getting what we believe is some fantastic treatment down there. But he is a 20-year veteran of the Virginia Beach Fire Department. Some of his roles, he is the captain of Engine 7, and Engine 7 is the busiest engine in the entire Virginia Beach Fire Department. He's also a search team manager with FEMA Virginia Task Force 2. And he's been a member of that organization for 16 plus years. So, and he's responded to disasters throughout the United States, Haiti, and Puerto Rico. I believe the task force may be deployed right now down in Florida, working down there. But it's Chevy's been. You watch the different links, and I'm going to have the links up here. Different news organizations like Wavy 10, WTKR. They're in the Hampton Roads area, and for those that have watched the podcast earlier and been following me on social media, I've done some interviews with WTKR. Most recently, we talked about firefighter cancer with Virginia Beach Fire Department. We didn't talk about Matt. We talked about another firefighter that was there. She has since retired from the department. But we talked about what firefighters are succumbed to, products of combustion, turnout gear, firefighting foam. Folks, we know firefighting is inherently risky. It's a hazardous career. It takes a unique person to want to do what Matt has done, what I've done, what a lot of the audience members have done, is get out there, be a firefighter, um, be exposed to products of combustion that we have no idea what they contain. I mean, let's be real, folks. Firefighters, they roll out to a structure fire. Unless they've got a list in front of them to identify, what's inside, what hazards are inside that building. Most of the time we roll out on a structure fire, we have no idea what's inside these homes. And it goes back to what I said earlier, with the fire prevention week, is look at things that are around your house, and figure out, how fast these things burn. And there's a reason why, homes are burning so fast. It's because of these synthetics, these man-made products, that contain, hydrocarbons that, when they're involved in fire, they're consumed rapidly. They off-gas toxic carcinogens, and those are then absorbed into firefighters, through their turnout gear, through their bare skin. And one of them that, we've seen in the fire service, other than, kidney, testicular, colon, stomach cancer, prostate, is thyroid cancer. And that's because, there's been tests, that have shown these products of combustion, actually, they accumulate in our neck area and right here in the thyroid area. So it's, research science is out there to show these products, these toxins, these carcinogens, impact the thyroid. So, a couple things I want to talk about is, some events that are coming up just real quick before we get in more here with Chevy. October 20th. If you're, and these are all pretty much in the Virginia Beach area. So if you're in the area, folks, during these dates, please stop over, give them some love, support Chevy and the Virginia Beach Fire Department. And because the ultimate goal is to get him back working. That's really what he loves. He loves the fire service. I mean, he's like a little kid in a candy store when it comes to the fire service. So, he's an inspiration. He's a role model. He's one of the main, cogs, if you will, in that whole machine of Virginia Beach Fire Department. And everybody just wants him back and healthy. So October 20th, at the Thin Line Brewing Company in Virginia Beach at 5 p.m., they're going to have an event. Again, that's October 20th. And I'm going to have these up on the podcast descriptions as well, so you don't have to rewind and go back and look at them. But again, October 20th at the Thin Line Brewing Company in Virginia Beach, 5 p.m., there's going to be an event that supports Chevy. October 22nd, the annual Public Safety BCS Flag Football Game. That's going to be 9:30 a.m. to 5 p.m., and I'm going to butcher this name. I think it's the Nansmond, Nanesmond River Baptist Church in Suffolk, Virginia. Again, I'm going to have links to that. And then November 12th, the Stability CrossFit on Laskin Road in Virginia Beach at 8 a.m. They're going to have an event. So there's different events out there. As you see, those that are watching on YouTube, we have a GoFundMe page that's up displayed here. So far, as of today, they've received $43,753 of their goal of $100,000. Again, I am calling on my audience members, my supporters, to chip in for this GoFundMe page, either via GoFundMe, or if you're in the Virginia Beach area, you want to travel to Virginia Beach, it's still a decent time to get down to Virginia Beach, enjoy the sights down there, but at the same time, stop over at these different events and support Chevy and his family. But yeah, donate. Any little bit that you can, donate to that. I'm calling out my folks, Jason Patton and those guys over at Fire Department Coffee. I'm going to be reaching out to you either email, phone, later on after this podcast, and asking for support. Nick over at Brothers Helping Brothers. I got to call you out too, brother, and see what you can do to help out, rally your troops. And of course, the Firefighter Cancer Support Network across the globe, Virginia chapter, everybody, and I get it, folks. We've all got firefighters that we know of that are dealing with cancer, that are dealing with medical illnesses, but this is a support rally. So if you can help out Chevy, by all means, please do. If you have firefighters that are local to you that are in need of some support, by all means, I'm asking you to help them out as well. This is the fire service has always been known as a brotherhood. It's but we're family. It's some folks may how it is with the whole they're against the brotherhood thing, but we're family. At the end of the day, we're family. So I'm up here in Pennsylvania. Chevy's down in Virginia. I know firefighters over in Europe that are dealing with cancer, but I still support them as best as I can. That's what we do as firefighters. That's what we do as emergency responders. No matter who the person is, where they're located, we do what we can to support them. It's whether it's covering a shift for somebody, bringing a truck down, supporting them out, helping them out financially, going over mowing their grass, it's all just little things. It all adds up. It's just that type of support. It doesn't have to be, financial. It can be something else. Like I said, just going over mowing grass for somebody that's in need. So help them out as best we can. I'm gonna show you links here to here's the Wavy 10 article that they had by Haley Milan. I think it's Milan, Milon. That was done on October 3rd. Again, I'm going to have links to this. So it talks about Chevy being called a go-getter. Everything he does is 100%. These are things that the firefighters down there at Virginia Beach have said over and over and over about Chevy, and just his passion about the fire service and really helping out the community. I mean, he is one of those type of individuals that I admire, as somebody being in the fire service for 34 years and just watching fire departments and interacting with fire departments. I mean, he is one of the he's a firefighter's firefighter, if you will. I mean, he is just one of those type of individuals that I think would do anything for anybody. And that's what we're calling on now is for those to give back. Pay it back to Chevy and help him out. And then of course we have the WTKR. Now Zach Dahlheimer, he and I have chatted many a time on firefighter cancer, PFAS, and here he is again, reporting on those same issues with Virginia Beach Fire Department. Like I said before, I did an interview with Zach and several members of the Virginia Beach Fire Department not too long ago. We talked about firefighter cancer, PFAS, turnout gear, And here we are, talking about, another member of the fire department that's going through, cancer treatment. I think for all of us, we wish for the day that no firefighter would ever get cancer. That's our goal is, we all want to go to work. We all want to come home safe. We all want to retire and live out the rest of our days. For some of us, fat and happy. But that's just reality. We want to reach the retirement. We want to enjoy life with our families, and do whatever we want. We want after that. We don't want to have to worry about, am I going to get cancer? Do I got to go through cancer treatments? And all that. But things happen. This is reality. This is, what the career involves. But at the same time, the reality is we're going to help each other, no matter what, as best as we can, whether we're local, 5 states over, 4 states over, halfway around the world. That's what we're going to do. So again, 43-year-old Virginia Beach Fire Department Captain Matt Chiaverotti, known as Chevy, currently going through treatments for anaplastic thyroid cancer. It's called metastatic carcinoma. It's very rare. It's very aggressive. Accounts for about 2% of the thyroid cancers out there. He's a 20-year veteran of the Virginia Beach Fire Department. I'm sure he wants to put more years in with the fire department. So let's do what we can, folks. Let's rally the troops. Let's rally ourselves. Let's go to the GoFundMe page. If you can't do anything local, help out Matt. Get through this battle. Get him back on the job. Get him back in the community, doing what he loves, being a firefighter, contributing to the community, and just being a hell of a firefighter, a down to earth, husband, father, a friend, somebody that you could just hang out with and at the end of the day, go home and be like, damn, that was awesome. Chevy's, he's just a hell of a guy. So, let's make that happen, folks. I'm going to have links, in the podcast description for all of this. And then, we'll go from there. So with that, folks, that's going to do it for this episode of the Weekend Wrap Up. I hope you got some good information on Fire Prevention Week. Learned a little bit about Chevy. Like I said, go to his links. Go to the various links that are out there. Learn more about him, what's going on, and how you can help. So with that, folks, we're gonna try to get back on schedule. A lot has been going on over the past month, 2 months. Been doing some town halls. Been down in DC working with members of Congress. So those, I'm going to try to get some episodes of what transpired out of DC, here pretty soon. So, with that, folks, that's going to do it, for this episode of the Weekend Wrap Up. So as always, continue supporting your local fire emergency services. Stay safe. And until next time, folks, I'm out of here.